but I did want to get started and thank everybody for coming onto this. I know this is a really bizarre time with a lot of anxiety wrapped up around, what you can be doing now. A couple more people are jumping on. So I wanted to take this time and go over a few different subjects. The first subject, so I'm going to be doing these weekly meetings or weekly webinars until further notice. And I wanted to, give you guys a few different tips, a little bit about me. I run a digital agency in Philadelphia called Great Big Digital. For the last 5 years, we've been a company and relying on digital tools to really power our business. We pretty much do almost everything online. So, when this situation happened, it's been a weird time for us, but it's been from a being able to operate online standpoint, it's been relatively normal. So I wanted to be able to share tools with you guys to help you transition into the digital space. And every single week, I will cover a different topic. And I figured that a good one to start with is just digital tools in general that help the everyday business be online and remote. So I'm going to be going through a couple of different softwares that and how to use them and what they can do and the differences between premium and non-premium versions, what you can do for free versus what you would need to pay for. And the hope is out of this discussion, you guys have a better sense of how to, one, communicate online, and two, how to build an online work environment that is easier for you to manage. So I'm going to be covering a few different tools today that I listed here: Zoom, Slack, Loom, Chrome, and some key extensions that are helpful. Landing software to help you really quickly get a website up if you wanted to do it on your own. A brief introduction into Google products in general and what exists on them and what you can get out of the box by putting something like Google Analytics on your website or on your landing page. Lastpass for security purposes, and Calendly. And I'll go through kind of how we use them at Great Big Digital, and then what you can get from the freemium version. So the first one I wanted to touch on real quick, which is I'm sure you guys all know because you're here right now, is Zoom. Zoom is a video conferencing software that allows you to host meetings. It allows you to create, screen share. And I wanted to go through the different features. So really the only big difference between the regular free version of Zoom and the premium versions of Zoom is the amount of time that you're allowed to host a meeting for. So the free version of Zoom allows you to use it for about 5 minutes, and then you have to just create a new one each time. But everything else pretty much comes with it. You are able to record your sessions, so that's what we're doing now. You have this kind of pause, stop, record. You have this screen share as well, which allows you to share your screen. We've been using this over the last few days for fun purposes. Doing, I don't know if anybody knows Jackbox, but it's online gaming that is interactive. So we've been doing Zooms where we share our screen and then everybody can play Jackbox together. So this has been a really handy tool. This is how we're communicating daily at our job, how we're communicating with our friends and family. I taught my mom how to use it yesterday for exercising with my sister. So this kit has a lot of different uses that you can all be kind of looking at the same thing together. With the options that I have in Zoom as a presenter, I can pass remote control around to other people. So if I wanted to, for instance, make somebody else, so I'm actually sharing on 2 different screens right now, but if I wanted to actually give the remote control to somebody else, so I can do that. So if I just pass the remote control to my other computer, which will, it's going to ask me to do some stuff here, so I'm not going to do it. But this will allow my other computer to take over the control. So if you are screen sharing with other people, you can give them the actual control of the screen to, you know, troubleshoot something or to, you know, do anything they want to on your computer. And you can revoke that as well. So I'm going to actually take that back. You can annotate as well on your screen. So right now I'm actually coloring on my screen. So that's a feature that allows you to do. So if you are presenting and you want to annotate, it gives you a whole list of tools that you guys can't really see right now, but it gives you like an eraser tool, an undo tool, so I can just get rid of it. So it allows you to really put it in kind of a like presenter mode where you can really show people, you know, and highlight different things on your screen right on the computer. So that's really handy as well. And so I'm just gonna save that, and you can actually save it onto the screen as well. So there are quite a bit of tools in the education program. You can actually allow people to jump around in groups and facilitate. So if you are an educator right now, or I believe a nonprofit, it might just be educators, but Zoom is giving away a free premium version that'll allow you to set up groups. And so you can actually teach your classes or different classes with additional the ability to move around in different groups as a facilitator. So you can put people into, like, for instance, groups of 4, and then they can, you know, and then you can basically jump around, which will allow you to, you know, oversee kind of a group project on Zoom. So that is, you know, a little bit more about Zoom and the capabilities of it. Feel free to hit me up in chat if you have any questions about Zoom, but I'm going to move on to Slack for now, and we'll come back to some questions at the end. So Slack, this is a tool that we use that has grown very popular in the digital space. Slack is basically like a chat room for different teams. And it has a lot of different capabilities and a lot of different integrations. I will show you real quick what my Slack group looks like here. So I have 10 different teams in here, and each one has a different function. So these are different, potentially different clients, different, my own business. I'm in a couple of different other businesses. So you can see here that each individual one has a team. And within each team, there are channels, and the channels are specific to what is being discussed in that channel. So you can set it up really however you want, but it's basically like a really glorified chat room that has, you know, different integrations. So like we can look at client, like at mine, I can look at client discussions. I can look at, you know, if we're doing brand, we can just put things in different categories. So this is a way that you can invite people to have different conversations and different teams, and it allows you to really manage your clients in a, or it, you know, your business in a way that allows you to have a team space that you can, just easily organize and discuss relevant topics. You can build out more and more teams as well. So, I have about 15 different teams. And then within each team, I have, a bunch of different channels that organizes that team. And then you can also direct message. And it works kind of like Twitter, where if you are, if I wanted to hit up somebody in that channel, I would, go in there and at them similarly to how I would on Twitter. And it integrates with a lot of different different things as well. So like, for instance, in this channel, this is one of our channels here. So we have, I can basically go into software subscriptions and I can at somebody into it, or I can, if I wanted to, like, for instance, I integrated this with Zoom. So if I wanted to start a Zoom directly in this channel here, I could, Slack integrates with a whole bunch of different things, and I could actually just start a Zoom from this exact channel right here, right? And this will actually start a Zoom for anybody who's in that channel so that I can easily, get people going. So I've used this with clients. I've used this with partners. I've used this with my own business. Slack is a great place to just host, all the conversations. The difference between the premium version of Slack, now, not very many people have the premium version. Most people, this is also a freemium tool. This is completely free. And you have a lot of functionality with the free version. The free version allows you to have pretty much all of the features that you would with the premium version, except it limits you to, I think, 6 different integrations. And then also it limits you to 10,000 messages. So once you hit 10,000 messages, it starts erasing the messages that you've had before. Now, this is fine, for most businesses who, don't need a record of everything that they've done and talked about, but I wouldn't use it for like exchanging, something incredibly important. And then, potentially, 6 months down the road, it's not there anymore because, you're on the free version and it's deleted that. So that's just something to note about the free version. It's also a really good place to send files back and forth. It's very easy. This integrates with your phone. It integrates through different computers. So I use this all the time with basically just sending files back and forth to myself or people that I need to send files to really quickly. So this is like my go-to place where, I don't store files here, but if I need to exchange files, I use that, and you just literally drag it in. So if I have a file from my desktop that I want to put in here, I could just drag this in and it'll ask me what I want. I can say, this is a logo, and add it, really quickly. It'll just add it to this channel and upload it. And now it's readily available from all of my different Slack platforms to download. So this is very useful for exchanging files, for, communicating to your teammates, and also quick communication. For me, this has not replaced email, but it's made my email a lot more organized. So that's a little bit about Slack. Again, if you guys have questions about it, hit me up in chat and we'll talk about it later. Loom. Loom is a really helpful tool that I discovered a few months ago, probably about 6 months ago. And Loom is similar to Zoom. Ironically, they're very closely named, but the purpose of Loom is to basically store really quick files of screen captures on your website, on a website, so that you can send real quickly a link to a screen shared video that somebody can look at later. So when I do video tutorials, and I'm basically like, if I'm doing a video audit, or if I'm doing I want to teach somebody how to do something. say I, wanted to teach somebody how to do something in Google Analytics. I could do a Loom video, which looks like this. And I'm just going to sign in real quick so you guys can see what it looks like. And it'll just, a small little pop-up will happen here, right? And it's going to ask me for, I'm going to skip this. So it's going to ask me real quick to start a recording. And I would just start this recording, and it's going to start recording everything that I do right now. Might not let me because I'm already doing, yeah, here we go. And so it's going to ask me if I want to share my screen, and here I am, I'm popping up here. And now as I do, it's just going to record everything that I'm doing, including my mouse. And as I go through different pages, it's going to keep everything. And when I click check here, it's going to give me really right away this link, essentially, that I can share with people, copy the link. And now I have a link that I can just send in an email. So if I wanted to go to my email and just send it here and put this in there, it'll populate with that link to, and most of the times it'll populate with the actual video in the Gmail. So when that is sent, they'll be able to really quickly get to either this or just watch it in their Gmail. And this is a full capture of my entire screen share. So this is incredibly useful for online recording and screen share and video tutorials. So this could be helpful in many different capacities. And this is all free as well. It has 100 video limit, I believe. But you could also do things like trim the video. And that's really helpful for when you make tons of screw ups like I do in video tutorials. And then also you can add passwords to this. You can invite people only specific people, and it gives you video analytics as well. So it'll alert you when somebody's actually watched this, which can be very useful as well for an online business to know that people are actually watching this. So that is Loom. Let's see here. Chrome and extensions. So one of the most useful things, I have multiple different businesses, multiple different partners that I'm involved in, and also being a digital agency, I'm in charge of a lot of different emails that I have to go into every day. So there is I use Chrome, and Chrome is definitely my suggested browser. Firefox has a similar functionality, but Chrome is very versatile, and you can really add a lot of different extensions to make it more powerful, which we can talk about in a sec. But I wanted to show one feature called People, which is up. If you're using a Mac, it's up here. And if you're using a PC, you can find it kind of down here. But basically, you can add additional people into your Chrome, and that does is it gives you a completely new browser, right? That is completely specific to that person. So you can customize all your browsers differently. So I have one for my personal, I have one for my business, and especially as people are going to be working from home more, there's going to be a sense of, personal versus business when it comes to trying to organize your lives online. And if nothing else, you will have two completely different digital spaces. You will have your personal space, digital space, and you'll have your work digital space. And using People has revolutionized my life in terms of organizing my digital spaces, because each one of these has a function, right? This is my personal, this is my business one, this is another one of my businesses one. A couple of these are clients, a couple of these are different, emails. And what they do is, like, each one has its own email, it has its own browser functionalities and Chrome extensions that allow me to organize that specific browser for this specific part of my life, or this is my personal one, and the other one is my business one, and that will allows me to segment those two things and keep myself organized. So I would definitely suggest utilizing people to allow you to segment these two different spaces, digital spaces in your life, and hopefully find yourself more organized around building a digital business versus like your personal space. So that is people. Now, Chrome extensions are a great way to build out these. Once you kind of have these different people, Chrome extensions will allow you to customize your Chrome experience to be more useful to your business. Many businesses have Chrome, or many like tools that you would be using online have Chrome extensions. So as you can see here, just as I go down the list here, a lot of these are specific to my business. Things like SEO tools and analytics tools, these are all in here. But there's other things, that you might, that we have already talked about. So for instance, Loom, that is a Chrome extension that I have that allows me to just click one button and that will pop up here to start the recording. Or Zoom, I can schedule a Zoom right from my Chrome. So utilizing Chrome extensions to, allow you to, customize your experience and make things easier for yourself moving forward. And as we talk about the other tools like Calendly and Google Analytics and these different tools that will help you get started with a digital business and improve your digital business, you can see up here that all of these are kind of integrated into my Chrome, so that I have a one-touch button that allows me to do a lot of things that I use every single day. So those are different Chrome extensions. The next thing I want to touch, and again, each time I finish a software, if you have specific questions about that software, please let me know in the chat, and I will bring it up at the end for Q&A. Landing page software. So there are a bunch of landing page softwares, and the purpose of a landing page software, it's not a website, right? The difference between landing pages and websites is a landing page is supposed to be a one-page experience versus a website, which has a lot more functionality. It can be more of, more of a reflection of an overall experience of your business and an online tool. And landing pages aren't really built for search engine optimization or anything like that. So they're not great in terms, like landing page software in general is not a great way to, get found. But if you just need to get something up really quickly, and you want to, build, and I'm going to be doing a completely different segment in the coming weeks, probably either next week or the week after, on like getting websites up and like the differences between websites, software. But I wanted to talk about landing pages because it's extremely fast. And there's a great tool called Unbounce, which, the main purpose of this landing page software is to build, specific pages for ads, essentially. So when somebody clicks an ad, they would go to a page that is specific to whatever that ad is clicking on. But this is also a really easy tool to build different pages with. It's a WYSIWYG editor, which basically means drag and drop. It allows you to really quickly throw up a website, not a website, but a page that you can map to a domain. And this is a way that you can, within 2-3 days, put together basically something that exists that you can send to your customers or clients, and that is not like a huge pain in the neck. In a follow-up, we'll talk about WordPress, Webflow, Wix, and Squarespace as different options for fuller websites. But if you guys are just anxious to get something started, Unbounce is a really good tool. It is a paid tool. I think it's something along the lines of like $10 to $12 a month. So it doesn't break the bank, but you will want to potentially transition off. However, you would have to pay for hosting somewhere anyway. So it's not a terrible short-term solution. Just know that you won't really be able to grow, your actual website using something like Unbounce, because it's very specific to, most of these are coded with no, like, don't index this. So again, there's not a lot of functionality beyond getting something up and running, but it is something that is fast that you can use as a landing page. So the next one I wanted to go through is a brief intro into Google products. So I'm just going to pull up. So this is Google Analytics that I'm on right now. You can see we do a lot of Google Analytics at my business. I'm just going to go into a test account so I can walk you guys through a couple. So there's a bunch of different types of Google products that are free and helpful for a business to grow. One of them, probably my favorite, is Google Analytics. Google Analytics is basically a software that you can use and put onto your website that basically tracks activity on that website. So it tells you what pages people go to. It tells you who's coming to the website. It tells you what age, where they came from before they got to your website. So this can be a very helpful tool once you get into marketing and start, a lot of people are going to be sending out emails. They're going to be, communicating with customers, and trying to push stuff on social to get the word out that they're moving onto this digital space. Well, you want to know that it's working, right? Because you're going to be spending a lot of time doing it, right? So you want to make sure and ensure that you have the tools in place to see what is working and what's growing your business, and knowing what isn't working and what's not doing a good job. And the way to quantify that is a bit with Google Analytics, to kind of, on a basic level, see who's coming to your site from where, and essentially what they're doing on your site. How many people are going to the contact page. And you can get really deep into this. Like you can really, like, in the digital world, you can literally track pretty much anybody's activity everywhere. It's very scary that you can do, but you can, and you can customize out Google Analytics to really understand all that stuff. But I'm going to touch on another software real quick called Hotjar, which is also freemium. Which, if you're a more visual person, Google Analytics is awesome, but it's not very visual. It's mostly data, and you're seeing things in numbers and graphs, versus Hotjar, which literally will show you a heat map of your website, which shows you where people are clicking and what people are if they're scrolling or not scrolling. So that's a nice supplement as well to Google Analytics. Also, Google Apps for Business is really helpful. You get, I think, a terabyte of drive space. You get the ability to use Gmail as your business. And that will help you, with sharing files. That does cost, I think it's $6 per user per month. But this is definitely definitely a huge tool that has helped revolutionize our business, is using Google Apps for Business. There are other Google tools such as Search Console, which is all for SEO. There's Tag Manager, we're not going to get too deep into that, but there's a lot of different Google tools that are free that allow you to see what's happening once people get to your website and what they're doing, once they get there. So that is that. The next one I wanted to touch on is Calendly. Calendly is basically a calendar schedule that syncs with your own Google Calendar or other calendars that you're using. I have like 6 different calendars that I have different events on or meetings on. So it's really hard for me to figure out when I'm available often. So Calendly allows me to actually just put the work on somebody else by having them schedule what's available to them based off of my time. So it's basically they once they click into this, they'll see an available slot time based off of how I configure it into when I've listed my availability, and it syncs with my calendars. So for instance, you don't see anything in here from 11 to 12 on Monday. Well, that's because I already have a meeting then, right? So it's already taking into account all of my Google Calendar information and then providing available times based off of my own personal schedule. So this can be an incredibly useful tool if you start really getting a little crazy and you don't have time to just look at your calendar all day for meetings. This is a great way to build integrate your calendars and give it to somebody who can then at their convenience pick a time that works for them. And Lastpass. So there is a growing need to provide passwords to people who say you have somebody who is going to help you set up a website or something like that, and you want to use a password, but you want to give that person your password to like the GoDaddy account, but you don't want to actually give them that password because you're not sure how trustworthy they are, or you just want to make sure that you're not giving out too many passwords. LastPass is a password protected service where you can send passwords to people without them being able to access what the password looks like. So this allows it to remain secure with you having you in the pilot seat. You don't have to change your password. So for instance, if I send, for instance, I'll say Matt because he's on this call. If I send Matt a password to a LastPass and he has a password, he has my password, I can revoke that access at any time. He will never be able to see the actual password. So for instance, if one of our technically intern accounts is this one, and all they have access to is this, I'm just gonna show you guys here, this LastPass in here. So they would log in with the one password that we set up for them on this account. And once they're inside, they now have access to all the passwords that we've provided to this account, right? So if they go to Facebook here, I'm just gonna log out and show you guys what it looks like. Log in. Okay, so they have now this little extension here that has this one, and then this will fill in that password, but it won't show them what this password is, right? So they don't actually have access to this password. This is just basically allowing them, this extension allows them to fill it in without them actually having access to it. So this is really helpful for, password security, making sure that you are in control of all the different elements of your business, and anybody who's helping you is really just receiving, limited access to your security. So those are a few tools. I'm going to just show you real quick what I meant by Hotjar and what it does. So you can see here that this is what it visualizes. Your site would look like it's in here, and this would show you, basically the drop-off points. You can set up funnels. You can set up, what pages you would like to have as a part of this heat map. It will show you if you can set up surveys of like how people are like you can ask people on your website how they're experiencing your site, and then it'll show you kind of a word cloud of like what people are experiencing. So this can be really helpful. It's again, freemium. There is a low level one that you can access for free that allows you to do a lot of different things, pretty much all of it. But once you get into enterprise, it starts getting a little bit more fancy. But you can do most of what you would want to do, heat maps and recordings. What it limits you on is the amount of people that is accessing the site that you can get a heat map from. So like, for instance, a free version will allow you to get 2,000 people to provide, this heat map insight, but anything over 2,000 won't be included in that heat map to show you where people are clicking and what they're doing. And you can actually record people's sessions on your website. So when people are on your website, you can actually record where their mouse moves, what they're doing. And this will show you how people are experiencing your website. It doesn't tell you who they are, which is good, but it does tell you, where they potentially came from, like Facebook, Google, and you can see if there's any issues that they're experiencing, and if your content is laid out in a way that's digestible or not. And that will kind of give you a much better sense of, how your website is being experienced, and also how how effective your site is in terms of content and engagement. So those are pretty much the tools I wanted to review for today. You guys feel free to hit me up in either chat, or you can just jump on. I have everybody muted, but if you guys, okay, cool. Yeah, so somebody asked, can I please repeat the password tool? Yeah, so the password tool is called Lastpass, and it's basically you would just go to lastpass.com, and you would create an account there. It is also free. You could upgrade to the premium version for $3. There's not that much more in the premium version. But basically you can see here that once you have it, you'll get this little, you download an extension onto your Chrome or Firefox, and it'll allow you to save credit cards. It allows you to save passwords, and then you can share passwords in there by once you create a password, it'll give you an option to add people to that password. And you can then say, are they allowed to see it, or are they not allowed to see it? So sometimes you want them to be able to see it if there's somebody on your team, or if they're an employee and you want them to be able to actually see the password, and you just don't want to like put it in an email, which I would not suggest at all. You can send it to them via Lastpass, and then once they log in, they'll be able to see the actual password. Or you can restrict it. So like, for instance, in here, I don't believe that, and I'm not going to super check here because then you guys will all see my passwords. But I'm pretty sure that we have given delegate access to this, so they're not actually able to see the actual passwords themselves. Did that answer your question? Cool. I'm gonna assume yes. Any other tools that you guys want to review that you think would be helpful? Anything that has been, spoken about, in passing? A couple of other like tools that are helpful for business that we didn't review is obviously QuickBooks, and different like actual operational management tools that exist online, that help you do, functionally as a business. Oh, one thing that I did want to review real quick is Microsoft To Do. This used to, and I'm going to have a whole segment on CRMs, customer relation management tools, and also project management tools. So this kind of fits into a project management tool. I will be going into something like Toggle and Asana, or comparing the different project management tools relatively soon, but I wanted to at least touch on one that I think would be super helpful for people who are just starting out. It's called Microsoft To Do. You do need a Microsoft account, which you can create for free. But basically, this is, if anybody's ever used Wunderlist, which is what this ended up turned into, Wunderlist and Microsoft To Do is basically a list platform, or a task platform. So it's really handy. What you can do with it is basically create different lists, and within each list, you can create tasks. And within each task, you can create reminders, due dates. You can add different steps. You can assign people. So this is really helpful if you are starting to build a team of people, that you can start orienting yourself as, in terms of project, because you're going to have a lot of tasks coming up. And I actually even use this to organize myself, but also my personal life, as well as, to kind of build out separate lists that allow me to, check things off. You can add files to them. You can add different steps that you want to take. And as you do that, you can, check them off as being done. And this communicates to everybody who's in that list that they are doing these. So that helps organize it. If you guys are looking for time tracking at all, I don't think that's that relevant, but Toggle is a really good one. But as we go through project management and how you guys are, effectively building, the business and creating tasks for yourself, there's a lot of different programs that exist. We started with lists, but you can really build out complete projects with a tool like Asana or Monday.com or something like that. So that's a good one to take a look at. Anybody have any other questions or tools that they want us to focus on? Right now, I'm going to give about a few 20 seconds here to see if anybody has anything they want to specifically go over. If not, I would implore you guys to, so I'm going to have this is all recorded. I'm going to send this out as a resource. So please, I'm going to put in the chat my email. Okay, so another person asked, easy video editing program. So there's a couple of ones that exist out there that, so there's a few. One of them is, obviously, if you're on a Mac, it's not at all like wonderful, but iMovie exists and it's free and it's on a Mac, right? So that's one. The one that I've been getting into recently is called Filmora. This is by a company called iSkysoft, which merged with a company called Wondershare. And this Filmora is kind of like a very dumbed down version of Adobe Premiere. It's really user friendly, in which, a lot of video editing softwares are not user friendly. But I would say that's a really nice kind of, it's a bit freemium as well. You can do some editing, but it doesn't cost that much. And I think it's like $70 or something like that. And for a program that allows you to do quick video edits, it's really nice. If you want something more on the upscale side, then obviously the Adobe suite is really awesome. I think it's, especially for educators right now, I believe you can get it for $20 a month. And that comes with everything. That comes with Photoshop, that comes with Premiere, After Effects. So if you're looking for something more robust and like more software that allows you to like do photo, like graphic design, video editing, audio editing, that's a really good one. And if you guys are specifically interested in audio editing, Matt Shank, who's on this call right now, he could always speak to that. So if that is a topic that you guys are interested in terms of like audio editing or additional video editing tips and tools, I'm going to give you guys my email in the chat here. And I have, oops, I'm going to make this for everyone. Josh at Great Big. It's Josh at greatbigdigital.com. Oh, that's why. Okay, to everyone. Here we go. Josh at greatbigdigital.com. Wow. There's also a great software called Grammarly, which would solve this issue right there. There you go. Okay. But I have a pretty robust network of people who are very talented in the digital space in one way or another, from audio to video to graphic design. So if there's any specific topics you would like me to focus on in these meetings, please either email me or hit me up on Facebook or LinkedIn, Josh Silverbauer, and let me know what you would like to see covered, and we will get that together. What I'm really trying to do here is create a network of people who are experts who want to learn and give away this content so that, you know, we can all feel more comfortable with this really awkward time in society. So please do email me, and I will provide this also. If you guys email me, I'll provide this meeting as a recording back to you guys. Yeah, I'm going to be hosting the recording of this, and just email me and I will send you a link to the cloud where it's stored, and I'll provide that after this. But this whole thing recorded, so we should have this so that you guys can look back on. So yeah, email me with any specific topics you want. I can get really granular too. Like we could spend 12 sessions on just Google Analytics if we wanted to. So really tell me the topics that you guys are most interested in, and we can, you know, really build this out with further tutorials and get everybody in a good place, hopefully moving forward in the digital space. So thank you guys so much for coming, and it's really awesome to connect with all of you. I hope to hear from you via email. Hit me up on LinkedIn, and looking forward to more sessions. Thanks, guys. Thank you for all the comments too. All right, take care, everybody. Be safe.